About this man, Barry?
Evander Holyfield you've got to rank him as one of the best heavyweights around. I mean, he's, you know, people say, oh, he was too small, he wouldn't have beaten this guy because he was too short, and he wouldn't have beaten that guy because he wasn't good enough or whatever. But he was good enough. He proved that he could handle the likes of, and you know, the one thing going into that fight, at the back of my mind, I could always remember the left hook that he almost knocked out Big Bo with, who was 2 stone heavier than Tyson. I thought he's got a puncher's chance, he's got a great chance. But, you know, looking at him and summarising him, I think he's a great fighter and he's got to be recognised as one of the best around. I
am going to just play the role of judge here for a moment. Red, you've heard all the evidence, and to you first, will you now name your greatest heavyweight of all time?
Muhammad Ali, biggest heart, most talent.
Colin?
I'm not going to argue with Reg on that one. As clear as I can possibly be about boxing, when it comes to the heavyweight division, Ali, for me, would have beaten them all. My dream fight would have been Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis. Even I would have paid to see that.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that.
And Barry?
Again, I'm consolidating the thought there. Muhammad Ali, to my mind, was the greatest heavyweight of all time. His speed, his ability, and his transcending of boxing, and his flamboyance, everything about him. He was the greatest heavyweight I can ever remember.
One final thought before we close now. Some of the active heavyweights of today, Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, and the emerging group that we now have. Into the new year, what do you see for these boys?
I see, you see, the thing about it is, you know, a fight of that magnitude that Holyfield had with Tyson, he was able to get himself up for that. That was a brilliant performance by him. His adrenaline will never be as high again, even if they fight again. I still think he'll beat Tyson if they fight again. But you've got Bowe out there, who's likely to lose against Golota. But Lewis would have a chance at any of them. And, you know, Henry Akinronde, he could be the cream of the crop.
And, Colin, one other thought as we've looked back through history. Why so few British heavyweights achieving at world level? Because in other weight divisions, Britain has a respectable record.
Yes, but our heavyweights have never been hard enough. They've never been big enough, and they've never been hard enough. And as simple as that. We have a much easier lifestyle in our country than those boys from the ghettos in the United States. No question about it.
Reg, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, it's population as well. Take that into consideration. They've got, you know, fighters in the gyms out there that will win British championships sometimes, you know. Hard enough. I mean, Tommy Farr was hard enough. Don Cockle was a brave fighter. But they just have... And Henry was in his way too, wasn't he? You know, if he didn't bleed. But no, I'm afraid that we just can't handle that. Our boxing style's not good enough, not rough enough.
Does anybody see the possibility, historically, that there will be a man to surpass Ali? Reg?
Oh, inevitably, in time to come, there will be somebody out there that will probably achieve more.
I don't think we'll live to see it, though, Barry.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm 35. No,
well,
I don't know.
Can I just make a point that just take South Africa? There is a population out there which we don't know what is in those townships in South Africa. It could be that there is somebody in Soweto right now who's 10 years of age who may grow into another Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, and Jack Johnson, all rolled into one.
And I think the Eastern European kids, that now that the wall has come down, we're seeing emergence of a lot of... We've got Maverick, we've got Golota, we've got Zolkin, who fought Akinronde and wasn't good enough, but there's a lot of young guys coming through there who will be putting their efforts into professional boxing. And, you know, if we get a couple of good coaches and bring them out there and train them in the fundamentals, we could have a lot of world champions over there.
You know what you say, Barry, if you're white, you can't fight. I'm talking about the heavyweights now.
I'm not so sure about that.
Talking about the heavyweights.
No, just wait and see.
Your dream fight, who would have won it?
Ali. Speed. Joe Louis wouldn't have got to, and if he did hit him on the chin, Ali would have taken it. That is the great thing about Ali. People forget when he, when he was young and pretty, they said, "Oh, this pretty boy. As soon as he gets hurt, he'll disappear. He'll fold." And of course, he proved everybody wrong. I'll never forget the left hook that Frazier hit him with in the 15th and last round in the first fight. It would have knocked most heavyweights, cold.
And
he went down, he rolled over, and he stood up again.
One closing thought about Ali, who's, in my mind, bestrides not only boxing but all sport throughout the entire century, Reg. Do you think he has any regrets about his life?
No, I don't think he does. I really don't. I mean, No, I know him, I think, fairly well, and I've never heard him... No, I don't think so. He's satisfied with everything. He's such a generous man, you know.
Can I tell a story about Ali to show you Ali the man? And it concerns Reg, and he's probably too modest to tell you. But a few years ago...
When have I got modest? That's a bit worrying.
A few years ago, Reggie was quite sick in hospital in Hammersmith. And Ali came to London, and there was a press conference, and he looked all around, and he knows very few of us by name, but he knows Reggie, he knew Harry Carpenter. And he looked around and he said, "Where's Reg?" And somebody said, "Oh, well, he's sick in hospital." And he said to his friend Harry Bingham, "We must go and visit him." And he found out where Reggie was. Unannounced, he turned up at the hospital in Hammersmith. He walked through the doors. Can you imagine the chaos there was when suddenly Ali walked in here? Reggie was in his room, tubed up. Suddenly the door opened. In walked Ali, and Reggie thought he was hallucinating. Is that right?
Yeah, I said to him, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "No, what are you doing?"
That's a wonderful point at which to finish. Reg, thanks very much. I'm delighted to say you're still hale and hearty with us.
Yeah.
And to Colin Hart, thank you very much indeed. Really enjoyed your reminiscences today. Barry, as always, a pleasure to work with you. Hope very much you've enjoyed it. The decision is clear, it appears. The best heavyweight of all time, Muhammad Ali. But the arguments are probably only starting. Hope very much you've enjoyed this hour of debate. If you haven't agreed with our guest panel, perhaps it's time you got together with your own friends to argue it out all over again. From us for now, bye for now.